Okay, so I want to talk about some of the nuances and frustrations and bugs and quirks about healing on an alchemist. I do really enjoy alchemist, but healing can definitely be frustrating. There's, if you're new to alchemist, there's definitely some quirks and stuff that you should be aware of. And so the first sort of quirk, which is probably more or less a bug, is that when you're trying to heal yourself, um, and you happen to be next to a wall, you can fail to target yourself, or you can fail to hit yourself. Let's see if I can demonstrate it. So normally, if you throw a heal on yourself, it's boom, I got the heal, right? But if you happen to be against a wall and you throw a heal on yourself, it doesn't happen. It doesn't go off. And so, on an alchemist, you're not actually casting spells per se. You're literally like throwing, spell vials. For purposes of this demonstration, this is going to be my spell vial. So it's like, imagine, like you're throwing a spell vial overhand, right? But there's a wall right there in your face. So like you're going to throw it overhand at your feet and you're like hitting the wall. So you don't actually like throw it and hit your feet. It's just like going into the wall. So I mean, obviously that's a very specific nuance, but it's good to be aware of. If you're wondering why a heal is failing, uh, you should be aware of that nuance at least. Pretty ridiculous that you cannot, that you can somehow miss yourself when you have yourself targeted, but that's what it is, and I'm sure that's probably a bug. It's just because of mechanically the way this stuff is coded, we get that little hiccup, shall we say. Another frustration about healing on an alchemist, and this is probably working as intended, because I guess it's this way on artificers too, is that again you're throwing spell vials at your target. So if you're healing a party member and you're throwing a spell vial at them, what happens is that if there's anything between you and your target, the spell vial will smash prematurely and it won't hit your target. So, whether that's another party member or a mob, or yesterday we even had like a dead body that was on the floor that was, getting in the way of it. And it just smashes prematurely and has no effect on your target, which can be really frustrating. People are moving around and there's just so much stuff between you and your target. Whereas, like, a normal healing spell does not have to physically travel from you to your target. It's magic and it just goes off. But with the spell vials, because it's something that you're physically throwing at your target, it can break on anything, flies and dust particles, it seems like sometimes, that are between you and your target. So I really wish there was something like improved precise shot or something like that an alchemist could take to make sure that their spell vials did not break prematurely on something between you and your target. Another frustration about healing on an alchemist is that your spell vials cannot be quickened. All of your other spell vials, your healing spell vials, cannot be quickened. All of your other spell vials can. So if I'm going to throw like, a multi vial, you can see the animation is pretty quick. But when I go to throw a heal, you can see it's slowed down. I don't know why the healing spell vials cannot be quickened. I certainly wish they could be. When your heals land, an alchemist can throw pretty strong heals. They can be pretty effective healers, but there are these nuances that you should be aware of. Another one of the nuances that is probably a bug, is that you cannot heal yourself when you're in the air. So if you're in just business, for example, and you target yourself, and I throw a healing spell, it just throws it down. You can see the spell vial just goes right past me because he's literally like throwing the spell vial at his feet and there's nothing for it to break on, like on the floor. So, but it's not just in just business. You could be jumping down from a hillside or something like that. Anytime you're in the air more than a couple feet off the ground and you try to throw yourself a heal, it will not hit you even when you have yourself targeted, which is utterly ridiculous. If you have yourself targeted, why should it ever miss? You literally are missing yourself with a spell. It is absurd. But that's what's happening right now. And so, you know, I mean, you could be jumping down a hill or so. Maybe you're flying around in Reaver's Fate, or you could be in a really tough fight, and maybe you jump over the edge of something, and as your feather falling down, you're trying to throw yourself a heal because you just got your butt kicked, and you can't heal yourself while you're falling down. You can't heal yourself unless you're basically on the ground or very, very, very close to the ground. So those are just, you know, some nuances, bugs, and frustrations about healing on an Alchemist. So if you've never healed on an Alchemist, you haven't played Alchemist yet, well, now those are some good things to be aware of. Hell yeah.